The unidentified man rides into town on a bus. Police are unaware which stop the man boarded, but the bus drove from Atlanta to New York, stopping at multiple stations along the East Coast. His first destination in New York is the scene of his crime, the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, but not yet, not for a few days. The man continued to a hostel where he would lay low for a week. At the time, he likely didn't know that clear images of his face would surface from his stay at the hostel, linking his identity to the crime. On Wednesday, December 4th, in the early morning, 50-year-old United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot dead on a public New York street. I'm no expert in crime, healthcare, or anything to do with this investigation, but I'm a curious person, so I'm going to read through a bunch of articles that I've prepared for you, and I'm going to take you all along for the ride. All right, let's get to it. Thompson was the father of 2 sons and the spouse of Paulette Thompson, who had this to say.
"We are shattered to hear about the senseless killing of our beloved Brian," Paulette Thompson said. "Brian was an incredibly loving, generous, talented man who truly lived life to the fullest and touched so many lives. Most importantly, Brian was an incredible, loving father to our 2 sons and will be greatly missed. We appreciate your well wishes and request complete privacy as our family moves forward through this difficult time." True. Give the bitch some privacy for sure.
The guy did really good in school, and he stayed at the same company for 20 years, working his way up to CEO.
He had worked at the Minnetonka, Minnesota-based company for 2 decades and led its insurance division since 2021. He was one of the company's highest-paid executives with a $10.2 million annual compensation package. Holy moly. $10 million a year. The company was due to hold an investor day in New York on Wednesday, at which Thompson was scheduled to deliver a keynote speech. The University of Iowa graduate began his career as a certified public accountant at PwC and had little name recognition beyond the healthcare industry. Even to investors who own its stock, the parent company's face belonged to CEO Andrew Whitty, a knighted British triathlete who has testified before Congress. When Thompson did occasionally draw attention, it was because of his role in shaping the way Americans get healthcare. Then Wednesday, targeted fatal shooting of the United Healthcare CEO on a Midtown Manhattan sidewalk thrust the executive and his business into the national spotlight. Right? That's the only reason I'm reading about it. They issued a statement. What does it say? "We are deeply saddened and shocked at the passing of our dear friend and colleague in Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. Brian was a highly respected colleague and friend to all who he worked with. We are working closely with the New York Police Department and ask for your patience and understanding during this difficult time. Our hearts go out to Brian's family and all who are close to him." Mayor Eric Adams confirmed suspicions that the gunman meant to kill Thompson. "Our preliminary investigation is revealing that this was not a random act of violence," Mayor Adams told reporters Wednesday. "It appears as though this was a targeted murder, and we are now looking for some evidence that they have recovered from the scene." In May, he was named in a lawsuit filed by a pension fund alleging fraud and illegal insider trading. Oh. Let me dig into that for sure.
Most outlets have chosen to omit this point from their coverage, and I'm not faulting them for that. It's still super unclear if this lawsuit had any motivating factors in the assassination whatsoever. But it's been covered nonetheless by a couple of media outlets because it's a potential blemish in a seemingly uncontroversial career.
Okay, so this is from HuffPost. Slain United Healthcare CEO was accused of insider trading amid DOJ probe. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was facing a lawsuit. Let's see if HuffPo does good sourcing. Let's find out. This just says what to know about Brian Thompson. Class action lawsuit. Where do you link? This is the actual lawsuit itself. Yeah, this is well sourced. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was facing a lawsuit accusing him and other executives of insider trading related to an ongoing Justice Department investigation before he was fatally shot outside a New York City hotel on Wednesday. Thompson, 50, was one of 3 United Healthcare executives named in a class action lawsuit filed in May that accused them of dumping millions of dollars worth of stock while the company was the subject of federal antitrust investigation, which investors say wasn't immediately disclosed to shareholders. So that's their allegation. Nearly $25 billion in shareholder value was erased once the investigation was publicly revealed in February. Thompson was able to sell off more than 15 million of his own United Health shares before the value dropped, however the suit states. It was the first time that Thompson had sold shares since becoming CEO of the company's insurance division in 2021, Crane's New York Business reported back in April. Let's read that. Let's just stop and read that now. United Healthcare chairman Stephen Hemsley and 3 senior executives netted a combined $101.5 million from stock sales made over 4 months, leading up to when the public became aware of federal antitrust investigation. There's no indication that the trades were executed according to scheduled trading plans and filings related to the transactions. The agency has reportedly been looking at potential monopolies in the managed care industry since at least mid-2023. United Health hasn't explicitly acknowledged the probe and declined to say when Hemsley and the others were informed of it. When asked about the trades, a spokesperson for the insurer said, "These directors and officers followed our protocols and received approval from the company." Disclosure question. Shares of the United Health fell 5.2% in 2 trading sessions on February 27th and 28th after the probe was widely reported in financial media. So is 100 million between 4 executives that are all making like 10 to 15 mil a year? Is that really a ton of shares for them to sell off? I don't know. I wonder where the lawsuit was going to go. I'm probably done with this. I don't really care that much. Let's maybe look through this one too. Facing DOJ probe for insider trading when he was killed in a targeted NYC shooting. I don't think this is accurate, is it? New York Post. I think that this is an inaccurate, misleading headline, because isn't the DOJ probe what caused him to do the alleged insider trading, and the DOJ probe is not looking into that? The lawsuit by the firefighters or whatever is what's investigating him insider trading. The DOJ probe was about that thing that was mentioned in the last article. So that seems like a misleading headline, like off rip. I don't want to read this article. That seems like a bad article. And then here's a kind of interesting thing. This was from United Health Group on the morning of. Press release on the morning of. United Health Group updates business outlook ahead of investor conference. Or this is the day before, rather, they post this. So this is like, I don't know, telling them about the direction of their company. So we're just going to read this. Could be interesting. Probably not, but could be. But this is all just money. It's all about the money. Which, of course, it is. So, I mean, this is just business as usual for them the day before. And the day after, they're definitely in a different spot. Here's misinformation about Thompson. Well, I already just found some misinformation about Thompson, about his thing posted by NY Post. Them dirty hoes. They're sourcing Reddit, but it's probably correct. Okay, within hours of the deadly shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York City this week, the surveillance video that captured the brazen crime spread across social media. On X, Reddit, and Facebook, the short video was likely analyzed as closely as the footage of the assassination of JFK over 61 years ago. And like that infamous shooting, the one in Midtown Manhattan has led to viral conspiracy theories. This is just not true, though. The only reason you say that is because you don't know how closely the JFK assassination was analyzed. What little reading and video watching I have done has led me to understand that they have picked apart like every frame of that video and like analyzed lighting, like glare, like all kinds of shit. And like that infamous shooting, the one in Midtown Manhattan has led to the viral conspiracy theories. Online sleuths offered their unsolicited opinions, which often ran counter what investigated authorities had said. Some online commentators suggested the killing was carried out by a professional hitman who not only used a suppressor, but likely subsonic ammunition, which necessitated them need to manually operate the handgun slide. Some even identified the firearm as a well rod, a British bolt-action magazine-fed suppressed pistol devised during the Second World War, while others said it was likely a B&T VP9. Neither is likely the case. Moreover, the professional killer theories were in stark contrast to the New York Police Department's claim that the suspect's firearm had jammed and he had left several clues that could help the investigation. I mean, you're going against the police department when you say this, because the police department chief himself is saying that the suspect clearly understands how to work the firearms, and you're kind of insinuating here that a real hitman's firearm wouldn't have jammed. But the police department saying the fact that his firearm jammed and he was still able to execute the hit means that he likely knew what he was fucking doing. Experts are quick to weigh in. Social media is filled with those so-called experts, many who have built large followings. As fresh details surrounding Thompson's slang were released, you mad, bro? It would seem that he wasn't likely a professional assassin. Few hitmen would stop to pick up breakfast and be caught on camera. That's probably true. There will always be a lag time between new developments and publication of those developments in traditional media, because traditional media, worth its salt, will still take time to vet the facts. In effect, this speculation corrupts the process and makes it less likely we'll ever see the truth. So in general, social speculation doesn't help the process, it corrupts it. Why would it make it less likely that we'll ever see the truth? It makes it less likely that the public will pay attention to the truth, I would say. But if you want to find the truth, the noise on social media isn't going to stop you from eventually finding the truth when it comes out. But you have to want to find it. The problem is that most people don't want to find it. And so all of the noise on social media is the only stuff that they see. While it could impact the ability to bring an individual to justice, I don't really think it does. I don't think it affects the court system. It also serves as another divide in our already deeply divided nation. Sadly, everything is becoming political, said Ariely. I hope that the courts aren't political, though. That's kind of my hope. I agree, but you didn't point out anything other than the speculations about the gun, which I haven't seen anyone really speculating on this, aside from maybe like some TikToks. But you should like name people. You should point out the misinformation, because like I haven't seen any of this. Anywho, until the culprit's apprehended, it's likely that law enforcement will keep tight lips in regards to what they know about the killer. But here's what's publicly available, at least what I was able to find. The attack unfolded at about 6:45 a.m. in one of the busiest parts of Manhattan, close to the tourist magnets of Times Square and Central Park, in an area where shootings are extremely rare. The assailant was also captured on a surveillance camera minutes before the shooting at a Starbucks less than 2 blocks away. Ammunition was found at the shooting scene with the words delay, deny, and depose written on them in marker. At the scene, we recovered 3 live 9mm rounds and 3 discharged 9mm shell casings. They play their cards very close to their chest, because at this point they obviously already had the statements, the like deny whatever statements that were on the shell casings, but they chose not to publish that. So here they're still not publishing the deny crap, and this is 3 p.m. I wonder when they publicize that, because the police are probably thinking to themselves like, is this really something we want to publish? Because this guy left a message. Obviously he wants us to put that message out there, so should we do what the killer wanted? While the public may have an insatiable curiosity withholding the name, if they have it, gives investigators the upper hand. In time, the full story will come to light. For instance, if officers are closing in on the suspect, publicly outing his name could prompt him to flee, risking the chance of missing him at a current location. The suspect doesn't know for sure if law enforcement has identified him, leaving him to play a guessing game as he calculates his next move, Pack said. Okay, 5:30 a.m. This is on December 4th. The suspect departs from his hostel, police say, likely by bike. 5:41 a.m. The suspect wandered around the vicinity of the Hilton Hotel. We have him wandering around, walking in the vicinity of the hotel, walking on 54th Street, walking back and forth. 6:17 a.m. The suspect seen at Starbucks on 6th Avenue near the Hilton Hotel. The NYPD released images of the suspect at the Starbucks wearing a hooded jacket with his face mostly covered. He was carrying a backpack. Images from the Starbucks surveillance system show that the suspect bought a bottle of water and 2 energy bars, according to the unnamed law enforcement officials cited by CNN. Surveillance footage appears to show the suspect briefly stopping by a pile of trash near a deli on West 55th Street. Surveillance footage appears to show the suspect on the phone while walking. It's at 6:30. 6:39. The suspect arrives at the scene of the shooting outside the Hilton Hotel. Tish said the gunman was lying in wait for several minutes before Thompson arrived at the scene. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target, she said. That's at 6:39. 6:44. Thompson walks toward the Hilton Hotel after leaving a nearby hotel that he was staying at, according to police. The United Healthcare CEO was steps from the Hilton's entrance when the shooter, wearing a dark hoodie and gray backpack, walked from behind a parked car in the pre-dawn darkness before pursuing Thompson for a few steps and shooting him with a 9mm pistol, according to law enforcement. Police said the suspect fired several rounds, striking Thompson at least once in the back and at least once in the right calf. According to surveillance footage, the gun appeared to jam after every shot, with the shooter reloading the weapon. The footage also shows that the suspect continued to shoot at Thompson as he fell to the ground. The suspect fled the scene shortly after the shooting, heading northbound into an alleyway before 54th and 55th Street, and walked west on 6th Avenue and eventually got into an electric bike and rode towards Central Park. 6:48. The suspect is seen riding an electric bike into Central Park at 60th Street. Roughly 8 minutes later, the suspect rides the bike out of the park, and then he is seen at 6:58 on the bike at 85th Street and Columbus Avenue. 7 a.m. The suspect, who is no longer on the bike, is headed northbound on 86th Street, and 4 minutes later, he gets into a cab, according to police. Thompson is pronounced dead at 7:12 at the hospital. 7:30. The suspect is seen near the George Washington Bridge and a Port Authority bus terminal off 178th Street, and the video shows him entering the bus station, according to police. We don't have any video of him exiting, so we believe he may have gotten on a bus. Friday, December 6th, backpack recovered. Police reportedly find a backpack in Central Park that they believe belonged to the suspect after a second sweep. It was found between some boulders south of the Central Park carousel, an unnamed law enforcement official told CNN. Police secured the area, bagged the evidence, and sent the backpack without opening it to be tested at the department's forensic testing lab in Queensboro, the official said. Meanwhile, during an appearance on CNN on Friday, Tish and Kenny said they have reason to believe the suspect has left the city. What do we know about the gun? The 9mm pistol appeared to have a silencer. Police were looking into the possibility that the weapon was a veterinary pistol, which is a weapon used on farms and ranches to euthanize sick or injured animals quietly without frightening other livestock. NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny said the gun appeared to malfunction, but the suspect was able to quickly fix the issue and keep firing. The suspect waited for Thompson to pass him before approaching him from behind and shooting him once in the back, before walking closer to him and shooting again, police said. It's notable that the suspect fired another 2 rounds after the initial shot in the back in an effort to ensure that he was killed, McCabe said. That alone shows you a level of training or determination, if anything, to complete this murder, he said. When the suspect's gun appeared to malfunction, he was able to clear the jam and continue shooting, police said. You learn that in a police academy. I learned it in the FBI academy. You learn it in the military. There are certain drills that you know instinctively to do as soon as your gun jams, McCabe said. The fact that he was able to clear the gun quickly tells you at least that he's someone who is very familiar with firearms. Okay, even as his gun jammed 3 times, the shooter calmly and quickly cleared the jams and continued firing as he walked closer to his target. As he's walking him down, damn. Firearm experts who have studied the video say it appears that the gun malfunctioned with each shot. Jamming refers to the gun not loading another bullet into the chamber after it's fired. The gunman is seen racking the slide back to clear the jam and load another round. So he clears 3 jams in a short amount of time. And that's why they're saying he knows what he's fucking doing. Like, I wouldn't do that, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. He's probably a decent gunman because of the jams or whatever, but if he's missing shots from 20 feet away, maybe the jams are what's causing him to miss, but like, come on, bro. It's 20 feet. If he wasn't staying at the hotel and this guy's just waiting outside the hotel, like right before the conference, around the time when everyone's showing up, I guess it could be that he's just sitting out there and he waits for 5 minutes and the guy walks up. It doesn't have to be that he had insider information. It doesn't seem like it would be that hard to figure it out. UnitedHealthcare's website listed an investor conference set for Wednesday, but it did not mention a location. No current or former executives of UnitedHealth Group receive regular company-funded personal security service, but maybe they should now. Bloomberg reported that investigators found a jacket inside the backpack believed to be tied to this murder. It is unconfirmed if the backpack was the same backpack the suspect wore during the murder, which was captured by a surveillance camera. NBC News also reported Saturday that Monopoly money was found inside the backpack. Our society finds it acceptable to hate people who make the kind of money that Thompson did. We assume that the rich are evil, and so to some, his murder was justified. MSN, New Yorkers, oh yeah, I saw this. This is so crazy. So this is apparently New Yorkers who are celebrating this guy. I don't know why. Celebrating the killer, at least it seems. New Yorkers celebrate assassination of United Healthcare CEO with shooter lookalike contest. I wear this everywhere. Why would you smile about this? You're gross. Even if you're against what the guy stands for, like, come on. This isn't the way to make change. This is not good change. New Yorkers mockingly celebrated the assassination of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Washington Square Park with a truly tasteless shooter lookalike contest, as the frantic manhunt for the brazen killer entered its 4th day. Tasteless, says New York Post. I kind of agree. 8 contestants donning hooded... It's only 8 people. I don't give a fuck anymore. It's literally just these 8 people. The wannabe doppelganger noted that he didn't have to particularly dress up for the event, saying, "I wear this everywhere." His killer looks landed him $50. The internet allows the radical minority a voice, regardless of how revolting their message is. 8 people were able to make political headline. 8 people were able to make national headlines for throwing a hate party. The hateful 8, if you will. My only hope is that the subject of the article does not find any sympathy among the writers. The motives of the killer are still unclear, so don't take any conclusions too seriously. But I would speculate that the individual carried out a personal vendetta rather than some grand conspiracy. We'll just have to wait and see when they catch the guy and whatever else they uncover along the way. The FBI is offering $50,000 reward information about the murder suspect. If you recognize this face, you might just be entitled to the $50,000 put up by the FBI for information leading to his arrest. As of December 7th, FBI is offering $50K. Well, that's that. That's the whole thing.